There we go. This is Paul Gilbert, and I'm going to show you 5 of my favorite guitars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So get ready. All right, well, this one I have in my hands right now, the purple Fireman. I really love this one. Now, one thing that there's in the world of guitars, sometimes people will relic their guitars, which I think that's cool. I mean, it's like an old pair of jeans. And this one is relicking really fast because we decided to put the slide magnet without any pickguard on it. So every time my slide goes back, a tiny little piece of paint chips off. And after about 2 tours, I'm starting to have a pretty good scar on it. All the legendary Steve Ray Vaughan's guitars always beat up, and Eddie Van Halen's got scars all over it. So it's sort of nice to have scars that came from real use. I've got pretty big hands, and although I love the stock ones, this is a custom shop one, and the neck is actually bigger, which is horrifying for most people because they'd pick it up and they go like, it's just unplayable. The stock Fireman is still baseball batty, but I think it's a little more. People with normal sized hands can still get around it. So I always thought the Iceman was cool because Paul Stanley from Kiss played one, Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick played one. That's enough to be cool. In the 90s I had one of these. Inspired by those guys. And then one day I thought, like, well, what would happen if you turn it upside down? It almost takes on kind of a Rickenbacker quality. Similar shape to like the Rick bass with that big upper horn. And that's nice because it makes the guitar balance really well. And so this was the first one that IBANEZ made for me. And I was really surprised how good it felt. And they do smart things, like they put a contour, in my Photoshop thing, I hadn't thought of details like that. And so that was the beginning of the Fireman, and initially I just called it a reverse Iceman. And then actually somebody wrote in on my email address that I post on my website, and he said, like, it's the opposite of an Iceman, you should call it a Fireman. And I was like, oh, what a great idea. So, I think he was from Ohio or something, thank you. Repair shop that I go to in Portland, I just went in with this magnet idea, and we found the 2-inch neodymium bar magnet, and it's inlaid under the pickguard, and the closer you get it to whatever you're magnifying it, the stronger it is. So my tech had the idea to kind of notch it out, and also we were concerned about it sliding. Turns out if you got something this shape, it doesn't slide. Whoa! Play better than that too. This is what happens when your mom comes to visit for a week and you don't play guitar at all. But I've got a good one right here. All right, this is the Kikusui. And Kikusui is a brand of Japanese sake. And I just thought it was the coolest looking bottle. You're just like you want a cool looking pedal, you want a cool looking bottle of sake. It's blue, as you may have guessed. And I just took all the design elements from the sake bottle. It had, all these logos and the little watery swirl and the the rays of the sun. And if you look very closely, the knobs are the bottle caps. At the IBANEZ custom shop, they had to drink 2 full bottles of Kikusui sake in order to get these knobs. I'm sure they had a good time. And it's just a ferociously thick neck. If I never played a note on it, I would just sit there and look at it. It looks so nice. And I remember when I first opened the case, and I went like, I hope I never get a ding in this one. It just, like a guitar that I did not want to ever get a scratch on because it's so beautiful. And it sounds quite nice too. Let's play something else on it. Let's see. And it looks so cool. This will probably be the only guitar that I never put a slide magnet on. Woo! All right. When I was a kid, I never had a DiMarzio X2N pickup. But I would see them and I would think, what would that be like to have like the world's most powerful pickup? This is one of my favorite PGM guitars. It's a signature model PGM. And it's got a thicker neck than most of them. And there's no whammy bar. And the wood is a nice wood. And it's just always one of the best sounding ones. One day in Photoshop, I thought, I wonder what that would look like with the X2Ns. But they sure look good. They just look really cool, and they are like ridiculously powerful. It's almost like somebody put another distortion pedal on my board, and it's on all the time. And besides that, I also have what I call the squid arm slide magnet, where it just looks like a bunch of suction cups. That's starting to get relicked a bit, and that's a strong one. But so you can do circles, the discs as well as the bars. You can only do one lick with the 3-string, but it's such a good lick that it's worth having the extra neck just for that. And I just tune the 3-string in octaves, and then anything that will work on one string, like if you do a major triad, then it's the same frets on each, and then you do some bonehead 2-handed lick, and it sounds like you're doing something really complicated. The funny one I did was I did the 2 weeks in the '90s when I was famous was from a song called "To Be With You," which is acoustic. I'm the one who wants to be with you, and I did my own version of it with my solo band, where I took those chords, and I did it like, was it? Deep inside, I hope you're feeling too. Waiting on a line of greens and blue, just to be right next to you. And then back to So it's sort of my heavy metal shred version of "To Be With You," courtesy of the magic of the 3-string.